Are we there?
What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to Sibz, West Coast, East Coast siblings. We probably look exhausted. It's early in the morning where we're at. We just finished Godzilla versus King Kong. And wow, what a movie. We're going to react to it. We're going to break it all down. So be sure to hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and let's jump right into it. What did you think of the movie right off the bat?
I loved it. I mean, I love movies with really strong storylines, but you got to know that that's not what you're going for when you go into these types of movies. And even with that being the case, I thought the storyline was great. I was very entertained.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I was a little bit nervous with this movie about whether King Kong would end up winning, beating Godzilla. And what we found out is they played it very realistic.
Yeah.
Godzilla is still very much the king of the monsters. They established that early on. They basically went about two and a half rounds in the movie. One time on the ship carriers, the second time in Hong Kong, and that obviously
kind of morphed into the third time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think they weren't shy about it at all. Godzilla is still very much on top.
Yeah, Godzilla is very much on top. And I think they told the story in an interesting way because obviously most of it is from Kong's point of view.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And we can tell that Kong is like a higher intelligence level.
Yes, yeah.
They really brought that to front in this episode.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because Zach and I from the basement with Zach, we had done a versus episode talking about Kong's intelligence, how that would really be the determining factor, but he was much more intelligent than we thought he would even be.
Yeah.
Not just crafting tools and weapons, but obviously learning sign language and those types of things. He's now able to communicate with human beings. And obviously at the end of the movie, we dropped him off at the Middle Earth. But no, I just thought his intelligence really came into play, but it still didn't beat the brute force that Godzilla can deliver.
Yeah, I agree. I loved the part where they went into like Middle Earth. I don't know. It's like a journey to the center of the earth type thing.
Sure, yeah.
But I love that. It was so cool to see Kong's origins and learn a little bit more about him as a monster because as you've said in the previous King of Monsters, we got to see where Godzilla came from, where like, you know, his history. So I love seeing that from Kong. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, you know, this movie had received some criticism online about it being too human focused and not enough monster battles. But when you think about just the amount of budget you need to make these fights, plus keeping it realistic, you know, Godzilla is going to win this fight about 7 or 8 times out of 10 on the regular. So they couldn't just have them fighting for the entire movie because we'd see it's not too long of a fight. Just because of he's got the thick reptilian skin that protects him from a lot of those King Kong's canines and his brute force attacks. He pretty much shrugged them off most of the movie.
Yeah, and I think pound for pound, Godzilla is just heavier. He's just a bigger massed being. So at the end of the day, he was going to win.
Yeah, but let's talk about Mechagodzilla. So Mechagodzilla, they did something which we had seen in the end of King of the Monsters, where they had the head of King Ghidorah, and basically they harvested that and used some kind of brain synapses or whatever was remaining in the skull in order to power Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
And what I love about this is that at the end of the movie, right when Mechagodzilla fully came out, it wasn't like a Pacific Rim scenario where there were humans controlling it. King Ghidorah essentially possessed the robot. So we saw the error message saying that the pilot had been disconnected, and we actually saw the pilot had been killed.
Yeah, that was really interesting because I was not expecting that at all. I thought that Mechagodzilla was going to be the representation of humanity in the midst of the fight between Kong and Godzilla.
Nope.
So to see that they just taken the humans out and they were like, nah, like this is kaiju versus kaiju.
Yeah, and I think it seemed like that was more of a question. Yeah, it was the kaiju, and I think it was immediately noticeable when you saw as soon as Mechagodzilla broke free from that mountain, he just started unleashing and just killing people because it wasn't human controlled anymore. It was controlled by King Ghidorah, which I love as a spiritual successor to King Ghidorah. Mechagodzilla was kind of getting his vengeance. And whoa, you want to talk about the superiority of Godzilla to King Kong? Let's talk about the superiority of Mechagodzilla to Godzilla.
Yeah, I mean, he was literally throwing Godzilla around like a rag doll.
He was getting that butt beat.
boom, like
it was bad.
It was bad. It was sad.
And I think and we're going to break down this obviously throughout the entire week with more in-depth looks at the movie and different specifics, but I just want to talk about some of the things that gave Mechagodzilla the advantage over Godzilla. So first of all, I wouldn't say he was necessarily heavier. If you look at their mass, and obviously flesh has a different weight, flesh, muscle, and bone versus just pure metal. So maybe they came out around the same weight. There's probably some specifics somewhere on Wikipedia or somewhere. But I think what gave him the advantage was that rock. That was a weird.
Sorry, I was sitting on my ankle.
What gave him the advantage, though, I think, was the rockets. So it allowed him to shift momentum so quickly, and it also powered up his punches. So it wasn't just the momentum of a heavy metal arm swinging at you, but also it being rocket propelled.
Yeah. And let's also talk about Mjolnir. Okay, Kong's axe. You know what I'm saying? That was really... I'm just using other movie references to describe what's happening.
Yeah, you're mixing your movies there.
But that was really cool. I did not know that was like his scepter or something.
Well, so basically when they went down to Middle Earth, you could see that the axe that was used.
Are they calling it Middle Earth? Because that's Lord of the Rings.
I'm sorry, not Middle. I said Middle Earth, Hollow Earth. When they went down to Hollow Earth, see, you're mixing up Mjolnir and all these lores and stuff. So basically, when they went down to the Hollow Earth, the axe that Kong got was fashioned by his ancestors. I don't think it was originally his, but it came from one of Godzilla's people, because Godzilla is not the only one of his kind. He is now. They're the two last survivors of their kind. But there were other Godzillas, including Godzilla's parents, etc. And so the Kong people were able to fashion this weapon from one of the spikes of Godzilla. And that's what I think really turned the tides for King Kong in this movie, because he was getting his behind handed to him until he got that axe from the Hollow Earth.
Yeah. One thing I would complain about in this movie was the way that the problem was solved. The way they got Mechagodzilla out of the way was the little kid pouring alcohol on the computer. I was like, that's pretty weak.
That was a little cheap, but let's be honest. We didn't come here for the story. We came here for the Titan battle. And, you know, it's interesting because you have those comparisons a lot, and you see a lot of people who just don't understand, very much like with the Snyder Cut audience. You have a lot of journalists and Hollywood people types commenting on things that aren't really the heart of what makes these franchises great, what makes superhero franchises and Titan kaiju franchises great. We are here for the battle. We're here. It's like a boxing match. Who goes to see, you know, Mayweather versus somebody else and gets upset because there wasn't a good storyline? It's like, you know.
Well, then let's talk about what we actually came for, and that is the action scenes.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
First of all, I love to be one of those annoying people who complains about the expense of all
Yeah, you're very good at it.
Anyway, I was like, yo, they're just ripping Tokyo apart.
Yes.
Like, yo.
You know what it was?
So bad for the people and all the people who invested in property in Tokyo. Just don't do it, man. Like, it's not worth it.
And you know what it was very reminiscent for me, and I hate to keep making these DC references, but it was reminiscent of BVS, because there was such destruction.
It was worse than BVS.
It was worse than BVS, and that's hard to do because Doomsday was really tearing it up. But it just makes so much sense, because when you have these creatures fighting in a realistic world, it's going to cost lives. That's what makes what makes real weight to the stories.
I mean, I think it pretty much, that was like a genocide, yo. Like, I'm pretty sure they just wiped out a bunch of people.
Okay, Kinks just said, let's answer some comments, and obviously be sure to chat it up with us. I just finished it, and OMFG, the fights were amazing. Absolutely. Who were you rooting for?
Kong, but only because I love him, not because I thought he was actually going to win.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the thing throughout the whole thing. It's kind of like a BVS. I gotta stop with the DC references, but you kind of knew going into the fight. And Zach and I, once again, we had done a versus match on this that came out just yesterday. When you look at Godzilla's skill set and then you look at Kong's, it really doesn't match up in a lot of ways. I mean, Godzilla's weight and armor, reptilian skin alone, makes it very hard for somebody like Kong to beat him at all without a strike to the dome. Although Kong held his own, but I would say that I was rooting for Godzilla the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you?
Yeah, it was
wow.
Godzilla.
He was very quiet about that when we were watching it.
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah, Kong. And I was like, a fellow Kong fighter.
Yeah, because I like to see a good fight. You know, who wants to see a bad show? And Kong really did. I mean, he showed without Godzilla, I think Kong really would be king of the monsters, save King Ghidorah. And it's only because of Kong's agility. That's his agility and intelligence are like super. They played to his favor even in this movie, even with him getting the upper hand on Godzilla a couple times once he got the axe, especially in Hong Kong, because in the city he was able to kind of dodge some of those.
I said they were in Tokyo before. I'm so
wow.
sorry.
So culturally insensitive.
I'm so sorry. They were in Asia. I'm just going to say that.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, I was definitely rooting for Godzilla, but you kind of knew it was a fixed fight. But I'll tell you that let's talk about this. The fact that nobody was really questioning what the storyline was going to be. I mean, we had Mechagodzilla leaked and shown very early on.
Yeah. I didn't know that they were going to be going. I didn't know it was going to be Journey to the Center of the Earth, though. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, if you had watched the trailer.
I don't like to spoil things for myself. Anyway, but yeah, no, all in all, this movie was very, very good. And I don't know what I was expecting going into it, but it was better than what I was expecting for sure.
Oh, wow. You know, it's funny. Looking back, you know, because you say that, and I'm thinking about King of the Monsters.
Yeah.
And that movie was one of my favorite movies of all time. In fact, I did a video talking about why I thought King of the Monsters was better than Avengers Endgame. So a link to that will be down below. Yeah.
Pre-COVID. What was life?
Oh my gosh. Well, regardless, I thought that movie was even better than Endgame. But now comparing it to Godzilla versus King Kong, I think I do prefer King of the Monsters right now over Godzilla versus Kong. And it's just me as a Godzilla fan seeing Godzilla in King of the Monsters, where he was the only hope. You basically had an alien in King Ghidorah coming from outer space, and he was going to wreck shop. The Earth was done, and their only hope was Godzilla. And the humans, obviously nuked him. And then that ultimate power up, which, you know, it's kind of like that's his berserker thing. You didn't see it because she didn't watch the movie.
I haven't seen it, but I believe it was good.
You guys know from King of the Monsters at the end, Godzilla gets his berserker nuke mode, and it basically comes from the humans nuking him. He gets juiced, and he gets the red energy, and it's awesome. I thought that maybe they would pull this out for this movie, but I think it's better that they didn't because it would then just get overused. But I think with that move alone, he could have finished King Kong and Mechagodzilla in one fell swoop.
So I think the point of that story is watch King of the Monsters if you haven't seen it. I'll be doing that today. Also, I haven't seen Skull Island.
Yeah, let's just be honest, she's really not a fan like we are, okay?
Listen, I freaking love Godzilla and King Kong, okay?
Yeah, she does. Just not enough to watch her movies. Violence isn't the answer.
Been busy.
Violence is not the answer.
All right. Anyway, but let's talk about the violence, okay? Because there actually wasn't that much violence in this movie.
Yeah, it was PG-13.
It was very PG-13, but I don't even think there was much swearing in it.
No, I mean, they're always PG-13. These monster movies, it
was very like family appropriate, which was nice. But what I loved is that they really didn't spend much time on the humans.
It's interesting you say that because a lot of reviews were saying that was overdone.
I felt like they really emphasized Kong's relationship with the little girl who I don't know what her name was, but I don't remember most people's names.
Yeah, well, this is just our initial reaction, so no, I didn't remember her name either.
But anyway, I feel like
she was adorable though.
She was so cute. But I think they focused on her relationship with Kong a lot. And so that's what made it seem like they focused on the humans. But that was just humanizing Kong. Yeah. Like to me, at least.
And you know what? I think it gave it that human connection. Of course, all the movies need kind of that groundedness, that, centeredness.
Based in reality.
And it's because humans are kind of self-centered. Like even in a movie like this, we need something to bring it back to our level and the stakes. And I think they did a great job with that without making it overdone. Yeah. Where it's just like a human movie with one prize fight at the end.
Yeah, I agree. But what I also like too about the scene in Hong Kong was that you just really got the sense of like, wow, the humans are not important in Kong or Godzilla's mind. Like this is their world.
Oh yeah.
And they're gonna do what they want. And humans are not relevant.
Yeah, we're just living in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it does make sense because whoever is in charge, whether that, and we really saw that in King of the Monsters, if it was King Ghidorah, it would have meant the destruction of all humanity. But at the end of the movie, we saw when Godzilla won, he left us in peace. Like he's like, you're peons,
like,
you're not a threat to me. Let's check back with the comments and be sure to hit us with the comments. If you're looking for another good movie, you should watch Rampage. Oh yeah, with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I did see that one.
I've seen Rampage.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I don't think it was on the same. I mean, it obviously wasn't on the same scale, but you know, The Rock did a good job with that movie too. There was a lot of ape sign language with that one as well.
Yeah.
So
I thought a lot. I'm sorry. Yeah, Rampage to me was just okay in comparison to this. I think mostly because of the action. Like the action for this was just like so out of this world.
Sure.
But I also got some Planet of the Apes vibes too. I was like Caesar. But,
yeah, no, definitely. I think the Hollow Earth, they had to introduce that as well. You have kind of an unlikely alliance with Godzilla and King Kong right now. Like they left on terms that were like meh. I mean, they were about to duke it out right after they finished with Mecha, but you know, King Kong dropped his axe and he's like, we'll do this another day. And they kind of parted their ways. But I think that the Hollow Earth gives King Kong a nice place to retreat where he cannot be bothered by humans, kind of repair, recoup, learn about his heritage, maybe some things that he lost, and fashion new weapons. And Godzilla will go back to Atlantis. But this kind of puts them somewhere where they need to, somewhere where they can, you know, not destroy the earth
and heal and kind of get themselves together.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, I wanted to bring up there was no secret ending for this, and apparently there have been in the last
disappointing.
Ones. So where are we expecting to see Kong and Godzilla?
Godzilla? Well, at least you didn't say
next?
Donkey Kong.
Shut up! So where are we going to see them next? You know, like we have no idea what's going to happen.
I was super disappointed by that.
Kaiju in this kind of saga that is, you know, King Kong and Godzilla.
Well, yeah, we've seen a lot of kaiju in the King of the Monsters. He kind of duked it out with several different creatures. We saw Mothra, we saw Rodan in that movie as well. So all the other kaiju, basically, they know what's up from the end of that movie. They had all bowed to the King of the Monsters at that point. But King Kong was off on Skull Island. He didn't really care about the fight. But we saw him and Godzilla kind of, it's an immovable force and an unstoppable, an immovable object and an unstoppable force. So they kind of just said, okay, we'll deal with this at another time. But no, I do think that, I think that overall what we can expect to see in the next one, because they didn't give us a secret ending, like at the end of Kong Skull Island, they alluded to Godzilla, and at the end of King of the Monsters, they had the King Ghidorah's head that was being taken by Monarch and those folks, which they used. So there are 3 heads, obviously. Did one of them get incinerated? I think maybe one of the heads got completely demolished, but
you know, too, in this one they destroyed the head of Apex, right? And they had also mentioned
the head of Apex. The
boss dude.
I thought you meant like
not the head. They destroyed the boss dude at Apex and his daughter. So whoever was in charge there is no more. And they also said that Monarch isn't around anymore. So maybe it will be a while until we get and someone in opposition to Kong and Godzilla.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got plenty. I mean, thankfully, much like with the comic book movies, there's a whole history of monsters that they've fought before. Yeah. I feel like it'll get silly when they start bringing in like the children of Godzilla and all that stuff. I'm not a fan of that, but they could bring in several different monsters, but they really didn't allude to anybody that they would bring. They could obviously do Mechagodzilla for the next
Mechagodzilla.
Ooh.
You say it real fast.
That was like real scary.
Mecha.
No, I think it's too late at night for all that. You don't want to do that. I'm just kidding. Anyway, no, I do think for the next movie, I think Mechagodzilla is a nice fit because it would be the humans retrying their hand at taking over and killing the Titans. But let me hit the comments real quick. The little girl and Kong was also, you know, I really did like that because usually it's always a woman that gets to King Kong. But before it was the damsel in distress. But this was such a wholesome relationship between Kong and the little girl because it just wasn't, you know, it wasn't like a love type of thing. It was like a little daughter, you know, type of thing. Let's see.
Like Mighty Joe Young.
Razor Crest, Kong and Godzilla destroy maybe. Yeah. Obviously that could be on the table as well. I think it's really going to have to do with what the humans want to do. So all the Titans are awake right now, and
I hope so too. I do hope King Kong, hello King Kong, that they do another King Kong movie. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, it's from King Kong. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they
that
will.
Was the joke.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the joke. I'm sorry. Did I embarrass myself on the internet?
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I do think they'll do another King Kong movie, definitely. I think we'll see the streaming numbers. It's not going to be Snyder Cut or anything, but I think it's going to do really well. I think HBO Max has a winning formula right now with same day releases and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to love, waking up to, big box office movies that they wouldn't get access to before. But definitely another King Kong movie.
Yeah, I also think this is definitely a movie that you should see in theaters, even if you watch it on HBO Max. Take the time and go to the theater.
I will tell you, I'll just let you behind the scenes. We have a projector to watch these movies on, like the big movies, and with the surround sound. And I wanted the full experience, but our parents,
it's too late.
It's too late.
The basement's cold.
Yeah, and
I don't want.
And I really did feel like, and if you haven't seen the movie, I hope you're not watching this. But obviously, for those of you who have, I mean, you could probably tell this is something you need to see with the biggest screen in your house and the best set of speakers, if not the movie theaters. Go out to the movies if it's safe where you're at. It's worth the trip. I definitely probably go see it again in the movie theaters.
Yeah, absolutely. I would even see it in a drive-through. It was great.
Yeah,
and think about we enjoyed
wait, hold on, hold the show. Hold the show. Did you just say a drive-through?
You know what I mean? A drive-in.
You're gonna go to McDonald's?
It's early in the morning.
Welcome to Burger King. Can I get you? Yeah, I'll take a Godzilla versus.
Anyway, I lost my freaking train.
That's all right. It's more like a little bus of thought. Ow. Violence isn't the answer. Anyway, so King Kong says I was sad when Kong was losing.
Yeah.
There was so much heart to Kong's character. He made, he had that emotional humanoid type face. He had the relationship with the girl. He was kind of the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though I was rooting for Godzilla the whole time,
because he's a monster.
It did kind of. I'm king of the monsters. Embarrassing? Yeah, probably. Anyway, I think that he did ground the movie in a way that did make you feel it when he was losing it. He was getting that butt.
He was
beat.
But dang, he had that G moment when he popped his shoulder back. I was like, yeah, bro, man. You know what you doing?
What up, dog?
Yeah. And then I said, I'm a gorilla
please
too.
Please don't do that. I don't think you want to. That's not right.
All right, guys. Well, it's late.
So that's just our initial reaction, guys. We're going to break this down. We're going to team up with our sister channel, the La Quente Ledger. Jay and Zach definitely are watching this at this time. So we're going to chat it up with them to go deeper into the storyline, into the plot, into Mechagodzilla, etc. So, guys, be sure to keep it locked here. Subscribe, click the bell. All that stuff that you do on YouTube. We're just here for the show. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Okay, that sounds really political, like politician. We're here for you. We fight for you. I'm sorry.
And yet it's the truth, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We love talking to you about all of these things.
Yeah, so we'll be chatting it up with you guys in the comments of this video. Also, Godzilla, King of Monsters was better than Avengers Endgame. That link will be down in the description as well.
It's early.
It's a little too late.
We don't know what time it is.
It's a little too late. Anyway, thanks guys for joining us. And we will see you in the next one. Peace. Oh, we got one more.